afternoon, South Africa, and a very warm welcome to you. This is Afternoon Express. I'm Jeannie D. How are you guys?
And I'm Bonnie Boole.
What's so cool is that it feels so good to be in a week that feels like it sort of starts halfway to the weekend. And it's even better to have the whole Afternoon Express family with us in the loft today. All three of us, as well as our two fur buddies, Baxter and Donut. They've got quite an interesting life behind the scenes. One of them has gone to go visit Bonnie, and obviously we went behind the scenes to go see what life is like with Baxter. Did you give us a real indication of what life is like with Baxter?
I tried.
That diva
I think
cat,
his life is definitely grander than what I gave an account of.
Oh, really? We'll share those details on the show.
Cute. On that note, we have Rachel from the pet rescue organisation Sidewalk Specials joining us again. And she's brought Kirby along with her, another adorable little fluff ball who's looking for a permanent home.
So today we delve into the world of a professional marathon runner with South African long-distance specialist Nolene Conrad, who is an IAAF gold label athlete. She shares the inspiring story of how running literally saved her life.
It's an incredible story, and I cannot wait for you guys to share in it with us. You can call into the show live today. We'd love to be able to hear from you. Our number is 021-430-9881. It should be saved on speed dial. It's that #1 button already. Call in today in the show live so you can share your thoughts with us as well. Plus, we'll be taking a look at the art of an incredible artist. His name is Siwa, who creates magnificent and colorful collages and sculptures using Ishweshwe fabrics. It's incredible.
What's his surname, Danilo?
I didn't actually see. I missed over that.
But first, from winning 6 times at the SAFTAs this year to scooping up awards at international film festivals, the success of the local film Mgoboza, The Wound, is a remarkable story of triumph and tenacity.
The film tackles tradition, sexuality, masculinity, and what it means to be an outsider. And with such controversial subject matter, it was initially banned from mainstream cinemas, a ban which was later found unlawful and lifted.
Okunjalo ke nakuthi uhlala bona evoye ubona xolani langa zethu abantu bakunike abathathu kule game
jonga apha ndizawuthanda uba ke uqinise isandla kule ntwana yam ya le ntwana icela ubhetyebhetye mani icela ubethe-ethe le ntwana
ngokubuyela ntoni kule ndawo ngoku ayuzikhumbula iitshomi zakho gonya kubona uba unatshomi apha okanye itsheri yakho ndiyakubona uba uyintoni kodwa wena theni ngakho kuyivume loo nto xa fika esixhoseni akusithetha izinto zalapha nindile mkwethu.
From winning 6 awards at the SAFTAs to scooping up awards at international film festivals, the success of the film Mgoboza, The Wound, is a remarkable story of triumph. The film tackles tradition, sexuality, masculinity, and what it means to be an outsider.
Born in the Midlands, KwaZulu-Natal, producer of the movie, Cait Pansegrouw is here to share the ordeals they went through to make this remarkable body of work. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys.
Wow.
What a phenomenal film.
What
a phenomenal film. It's so satisfying on so many levels. It's also quite a courageous feat.
Yeah.
Nobody has delved into this aspect of gender issues, masculinity in South Africa, and to quite a conservative audience. Would you say that South African audiences are still quite conservative?
Absolutely, very much so. The reaction, I mean, the film has been sold to 50 countries now, and we travelled, well, my director travelled to 40 festivals to screen it. I went to a bunch as well, and the different reactions were really fascinating. We showed in Asia, Europe, and the States. So we got a very broad scope of reactions. And here was definitely the most spicy.
To the point that you guys even had death threats against you.
That's right.
How does that happen?
I don't know the answer to the question. I think what is even more troubling is that they were not anonymous. So people had this entitlement when they threatened us, that it was on Facebook or social media where their name is there. If we wanted to find them, we could.
Wow.
So it was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the sex scenes were shot quite compellingly, the ones that are in the film. They're not explicit, but they're just really compelling, and they just give you a real sense of what the characters are going through. Do you think that the audiences who had a problem with the film had a problem with seeing homosexual sexuality?
Absolutely.
Or that they actually had a problem with the context, that it was a sacrilegious to actually talk about what happens on the mountain?
I think people had a number of issues. I think it's a very complex thing to unpack, so I don't like to box it all into one thing and say it was all homophobic. But certainly if you compare the outrage to Long Walk to Freedom or Tando Mgolozana's novel, it was nothing like this. So that did lead us to think that there was a lot of homophobic stuff under there. Yeah.
Just for our people and our viewers sitting at home who haven't watched the movie, could you give us a quick synopsis on what it's about?
So the film follows the story of Nolene, who's played amazingly by the annoyingly talented Nakane. And he goes twice a year to the mountains of the Eastern Cape. He leaves his day job to go and initiate young men into manhood. And while he's there, he also rekindles a kind of ongoing, very toxic love affair with a man named Vija.
I love Vita.
How did you happen about the story?
I saw this project being pitched actually at a film market. And I immediately knew that I had to be involved in it in whatever capacity. I probably would have done all the catering if that meant I could have been on it, although no one would have enjoyed that. So I approached John and my now business partner Elias, who produced the film with me, and I said, you know, I grew up I spent a lot of time as a child in the Eastern Cape. My family's always gone there, and the story really spoke to me, and maybe I can be of assistance, because originally they wanted to shoot in the Eastern Cape. That didn't happen for, I think, obvious reasons now. So it came from that, and then it kind of spawned into me helping them with the casting, which took 2 years. And during the course of that process, all fell in love with each other and became business partners.
What was some of the conversations that were happening internally between the cast and the crew in light of what was happening relative to, I mean, how the audiences were reacting? I mean, was there a panic? Was there just complete courage?
To the controversy.
Yeah.
I think everyone sort of dealt with it differently. Because I remained very close with the cast. I lived with the cast while we were shooting. We kept in touch very consistently and made sure everyone was okay. And we had to just lie low for a while. I mean, we always knew there was going to be controversy. We did not foresee people acting so violently.
Did you really have to move to a safe house?
No. So this is a very annoying thing that came out in the papers, that we had a refugee camp for the cast, which was nonsense. But we did have to be very aware of where we go, with whom, at what time.
Absolutely. Wow.
But from being black banned in South Africa to such an amazing response internationally, and basically, I think, are you on your 28th award now for the film?
28th now.
Incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So tell us about some of the awards and what it means to you to be so celebrated for this incredible work.
It's so special, because everyone who took part in the film in whatever role did it for really personal reasons, particularly the cast. And I think it was insanely brave of the cast to be involved. And I think worth mentioning that out of the ensemble of about 120 people on screen, 4 were trained actors. The rest were real people that had never been on a film set before. So for them to deal with this controversy emotionally was very hectic.
I'm sure.
So, and it's always, as an artist, it's nice to have your film or your art recognized and validated. And we always knew this was going to be a special film, but I don't think we quite realized how special. And the responses were wonderful. And I think also what it kind of goes unsaid is that as much as there was this movement against the film, there was also a massive movement for the film. And the amount of support we got, particularly from the LGBTQI community was astounding. And then to come home and to take home 6 SAFTAs was
incredible.
wonderful.
Congratulations.
Well done.
Thank you.
And now
just leading up to, sorry, darling, leading up to the making of the film, were there workshops? Because I watched the film and I think to myself, there's so much magic in it. It didn't all just happen in the writing.
Totally.
Was there workshopping time where you guys just sat with the script and just picked it apart with the characters?
For the 3 leads, we spent a lot of time, not necessarily in rehearsal, but talking about Nakane and Niza are gay men, so them sharing a lot of their experience. And unpacking that and then bringing what they had explored to set. But what was really special were the bigger scenes where we had this real community of Xhosa men reenacting this ritual as they would in reality. And I remember those days on set so clearly because it was just electric to be there. And some of our takes were 20 minutes long because more stuff kept happening, and it was amazing.
When that happens. Wow. And then you said Oxford and Harvard have requested to use it as a set work.
They have approached us they haven't kind of elaborated in what sense, but they've approached us to somehow have the film involved in their curriculum.
Well, I hope every university in South Africa uses it as a set work.
I hope so. Yeah,
It's really well done on your work.
Thank you.
That is so fantastic. How difficult is it to get funding for films like this?
Well, for Mgoboza it took 4 years.
Wow.
Because of how controversial it is. It took 4 countries. So we co-produced with France, the Netherlands, and Germany.
Okay.
And if you are working in co-production, there's obviously even more bureaucracy and things take longer. And we did not get a lot of national support for the film.
It's such a pity. And I suppose because it was banned, obviously that prevents you from making money at the box office.
Yeah, it's off the circuit already.
What a shame.
When it was banned, it was off for 3 weeks, and in those 3 weeks, the piracy went through the roof, and the film never recovered.
Well, I definitely think that you've broken the ceiling and pioneered a new space and a new age in African film. Thank you so much.
That's what we wanted.
Yeah. Well done.
Thank
you so much for being here and sharing the story. I hope
having
everybody
me.
watches the film.
Yes. After the break, we step into the world of a professional marathon runner, Nolene Conrad. Plus later, we look at the art of Siwa Mgoboza, who creates collages and sculptures using shre fabrics.
Clover fresh milk is way better. Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. We're live on SABC3 with some refreshments in the loft today because nothing beats the taste and quality of Clover fresh milk. It is the freshest milk out there. And speaking of fresh, we're looking out for some amazing emerging fresh talent right from the local streets of South Africa. And we look at local artists today. His name is Themba Mkangeli and his amazing ballpoint pen portraits.
I mean, they are absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Themba is an extraordinary artist who literally uses a ballpoint pen to create some of the most beautiful pieces of art. Just a ballpoint pen. Now, I mean, they're some of the most beautiful things that I've ever seen.
Look at that, it's
Hailing
amazing.
from a small village called Julukuku.
Julukuku.
In Eastern Cape,
yeah.
basically, and currently based in Younger East. This fresh talent says that he believes that art is life. I'm like, the earth without art is just air. And without any formal art training, he was encouraged by his fellow peers and his surrounding community members to follow his passion for art after he matriculated. Now, Themba is the definition of natural talent. He loves working on portraits, just using a ballpoint pen, and often mixes elements of nature into his work as well.
What's so cool about it is that you think about art like this and you would think that you require lots of fancy treatment. It just starts with a pen and a classroom, I guess, during ad breaks. You know, during, what do you call it? What do you have in the school? I'm thinking of television or ad breaks. In school you have like? When you go to the yard and you eat your lunch? Lunch breaks. Yeah, break. That's what it is. Playing around. With dreams to own an art studio, he wants to own a gallery as well as to serve as a mentor to young people, particularly from the poorer black communities. Themba believes that one needs to do what you love as opposed to obviously needing to do something just for the sake of money. And for him, that means acquiring artistic knowledge and skills will provide young talents with a positive attitude, confidence, and a much-needed source of income. Now, who knew that a few scribbles from the age of 5 could grow into becoming a sensational artist that is Themba?
I actually really wish that I could draw. I mean, I can barely draw a stick man. My mother's an artist, but when I could just watch people draw and paint all the time, I've got such a huge appreciation for art.
Yeah.
And now to add to his amazing collection, Themba recently did this amazing piece of the late Winnie Mandela, and it's an absolute beauty. He's a true local talent.
Look at that.
Incredible. Just with a ballpoint pen.
It's amazing what you can do, hey? It just goes to show that passion is always the drive behind a big dream and fresh talent. And we love showcasing these amazing fresh talents to give them the recognition that they deserve, because often they don't. So join in the conversation with us and share via our social media pages some of the fresh talent that you perhaps have spotted out there. Maybe there's somebody who dances around your building, somebody who heard singing in the shower next door to you. Whatever the fresh talent might be, go to facebook.com/Afternoon Express and use that hashtag fresh talent as well as on all the social media platforms. We'd love to hear from you. Cheers.
Clover fresh milk is way better. Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back. Now, Nolene Conrad is a professional marathon runner, and just last month, she achieved one of the highest honours in the sport when she reached the IAAF Gold label status. Wow.
Now, what makes her story a success, the success of her story truly remarkable, is that as a child, she was diagnosed with a severe asthma, and after landing up in hospital, barely able to breathe, the doctor told her that if she didn't improve her lung capacity, she wouldn't live to her 21st birthday.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Congratulations for everything.
Thank you.
Now, I'm asthmatic, so, it is honestly the worst thing in the world. To not be able to breathe is terrible. What happened, and why did they say that you wouldn't live until you were 21?
So I was diagnosed with asthma when I was 13 years old.
Yeah.
We didn't know what the cause was, but it was obviously, as a 13-year-old, it's a terrible thing. You're very scared most of the time. Don't know when you'll have an asthma attack, but when it happens, you know, it can be the scariest thing in the world.
Sure.
So I was in and out of hospital since the age of 13, and my parents struggled because they didn't have financial. They weren't financially stable to afford healthcare. And I had my asthma pump, which was my lifeline. And sometimes the asthma attacks would be so bad that the pump wouldn't work. And as a child, you can't play really because, you know, anything could spark an attack, and especially physical activity. So when I was 16 years old, I had
an asthma attack during the middle of the night, woke up with an asthma attack and went to my parents' room, woke them, and they immediately knew that I was having a bad attack. And they called the neighbors because my family didn't have a car. So the neighbors didn't answer the phone and they called the ambulance, which I knew they had a certain amount of time to get to you. And while waiting for the ambulance, I passed out. And just waking up in the ambulance, and the guy told me, you know, I was lucky they got there in time. So I spent the whole week in hospital, and at the end of that hospital stay, the doctor just told me that, you know, I have to improve my lung capacity, or else I won't make it up until the age of 13, because it was getting progressively worse.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, when he said that, did you have any idea in your mind what you would do to improve your lung capacity? I mean, because that could be anything. It could be from breathing exercises to swimming, I don't know.
Yeah, he suggested swimming or running. But obviously I didn't know that, you know, breathing exercises would help. So I listened to his advice, and the next week my friend told me, you know, she invited me to cross-country running. And I said, oh, well, I'll just try it. You know, I have nothing to lose. But obviously this doctor's words kept going through my mind. And I was scared because I thought I didn't want that to be my life. I didn't want to land up in hospitals the whole time. I didn't want to...
You basically ran to stay alive.
Yes. And so I did cross-country running, and it was horrible because, you know, it gets worse before it actually gets better.
Oh, right.
So I didn't finish a 4K. It was 4 kilometers long, and I never finished a race. It took me till the end of the season to complete a race. So I always passed out, and people were looking at me, my school teachers, they were asking me why I did this to myself. But I was so determined because I knew, like, he gave me an option. He said to me, you know, he gave me hope. He said, you could outgrow it if you do some
When you run, are you conscious of your breathing? So, like, when you're running, are you inhaling and exhaling and, like, doing your counts? Because I know whenever I feel asthmatic, I consciously have to breathe in and out, and I've got to almost count it. So now, do you do that when you run?
I used to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was still asthmatic, I used to do that, and obviously I ran with a pump wherever. So
I do that still.
You know, I had it in my sports bra, and that's how I ran. And when I needed it, I just used it. But now I've outgrown the asthma, and I don't even have a pump in my house. Where, you know.
Congratulations for receiving gold status in Valencia. You've also just come back from Vienna.
Yes.
So tell us about Vienna.
So Vienna was awesome. I actually decided, okay, I want to do a marathon this year again. So my focus was, I was looking to run a faster time than I did in Valencia last year, which was a 2:35. And on the day, it wasn't quite as I expected it, like the race to turn out, but it was my second time running under 2 hours 40. So I was really proud of that, and that I finished 8th in IAAF Gold Label race. Yeah, because top 8 is a really good achievement at that level.
Yeah. What kind of mental strength does it actually take to be a runner of your caliber?
It requires a lot of mental toughness. So you have to have grit, and especially for the marathon, because there were stages in the race where I wanted to give up, where I thought this was getting very hard. And it was actually like nothing wants to work anymore. So you basically just have to pull, and while you
find it inside of yourself.
You have to find the strength to push you to that line. But it's also then you think of all the people that's supporting you, and you know all the hard work you put into that, because it's basically 4 months
and
of
all
prep.
The giants you've killed along the way.
Exactly, all the obstacles and challenges, and you know that wills you onto the finish line.
Do you think anyone can run at any age?
I do, but I think the how do you say? So when you're young, it should be for fun. It shouldn't be competitive. Because sometimes we push the younger kids to run competitive races, and you know when they enjoy it, then they'll do it for longer. But if you push them too hard too soon, then, you know, you just...
They won't enjoy it anymore. Well, looking at your gorgeous, strong body, I'm thinking, Bunny, please, let's go and hit a treadmill this afternoon.
I love running.
Thank you.
There's honestly one way to motivate you on Afternoon Express today, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. Find us on social media, #Afternoon Express. We'd love to be able to hear from you. Shed some love towards our guests. We'd love to read those comments live on air. Coming up after the break, it's all about our pets as we catch up with Baxter and Donut behind the scenes. And Rachel from Sidewalk Specials brings us another adorable pup called Kirby, who is looking for a loving home that could be yours.
Yes, no, it's cool.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, when they're not in front of the camera or running around the studio, Donut and Baxter's lives at home are pretty normal. Here is a look into how they've been welcomed into their foster homes and some of their time away from the studio.
As you know, we have grown the Afternoon Express family by welcoming Baxter and Donut into our home. Besides being the newest stars in front of the camera, we thought we would show you a little of their off-screen life.
When I found out that I had the option of adopting Donut, I was quite excited. I was very scared. I have quite a structured schedule, but it's definitely a change, something that I was looking for, and it came in a little bundle called Donut. Donut is a very energetic puppy. She is super curious. She gets a lot of attention, especially on set. And you would think it would tire her out, but no. She comes home, she plays, and her favorite game at the moment is playing with her sock. As soon as I got her, I took a colorful sock and I just tied 2 knots in it. And at this point, it has become the one thing she throws for herself and she catches it. So it was quite cute. After coming off the live show, she has obviously an elevated level of energy. It's like a roughhousing kind of situation because she's like constantly at everyone's feet. I think it's when you're in an office environment and everyone gets to play with your puppy, I enjoy the fact that now it's just me. It's my time to actually play with her, treat her, and give her all the love I can give her.
While Donut is being happily homed by Johan, Afternoon Express presenter Bonnie and Booley immediately fell in love with our new feline leading man, Baxter. Bonnie's family share the feeling and they haven't looked back.
Well, it was love at first sight. I actually didn't think too hard about it. I think I only started thinking about it a week later. In terms of just the responsibility of taking a new pet and bringing it home and all the changes that come with it. My whole family fell in love with him and they were very excited. They were very surprised. I didn't warn them. I just walked in and I said, "This is our new family member," and everybody was like surprised of it, but the kids jumped with joy. It's just been interesting seeing him develop a little personality, getting to know him. I also feel like he's agent because I'm always taking him to shoots. I'm always sending pictures of him where people request them, updating his pictures. He's just, yeah, I'm his momager, basically. Well, because the boys have really taken to Baxter, they're happy to clean up his litter and they're happy to feed him and make sure he's got fresh water. They also play with him too much. We have to say to him, he's not a teddy bear, he's not a baby, he's a cat. We've got to let him be, give him space. But they've bonded really well.
Stay tuned to Afternoon Express to follow the journey of these two growing up. And if you would like to see more of them, you can also find them on Instagram.
What a life. Now I just wish Bonnie would adopt me.
Whiskers, feed their curiosity.
What do you think? Should Jeannie be adopted by Bonnie? Moving in together, this could be a whole new reality show on its own. Such a cool chance to be able to celebrate some furry puppies on the show today. Last week we were introduced to Mila, who needed a loving home. And so we're very glad to say that she has found a family that will absolutely cherish her. So today Kirby is a 1-year-old pup and is looking for a new home as well. Joining us is Rachel Sylvester, founder and director of Sidewalk Specials, to tell us why you should consider adopting a furry friend, and that furry friend not being Jeans. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much.
She is such a cutie.
She is ridiculously loving.
Yeah.
Like, she's literally like the dog version of an octopus. She just wants to be on you,
exactly.
in you, licking you, loving you.
So you've had a terrible day. This is the kind of dog you want to come home to.
Basically,
Before we talk a little about Kirby, let's quickly go back to Mila and tell us about the home that she found.
Well, we had multiple offers, and we said, people, you know, we're going to go one at a time. We're going to do home checks, and she's found a lovely couple, young couple. It's going to be their first dog. They bought her little bowls already, beds already. So yeah.
That view is like anyone's envy. My word.
I know, it's not bad here.
What a lucky dog. Tell us about how that adoption process worked. So obviously a whole bunch of people applied. You went to good home checks, and then you decide
people email us. We send them an application form, and it's just basic questions about your work hours and what you're looking for in a dog, and just making sure that Mila is the dog you're looking for, and you're the family we're looking for Mila. And so if you're approved application, then we go and do a home check. Then we say, do you want to meet and greet with a pup? And if all's good, then take the pup on a 3-day trial. Stunning. Is it a good fit for your family? Yes. Awesome. Keep it. No. Next family.
Okay, stunning.
Yeah.
But obviously, Mila's now found a home, and Kirby's up next. So if you were unsuccessful, perhaps, with your other applications, Kirby could be your next furry friend to come and join you and your family. Tell us a bit more about how you guys managed to find her.
Well, Kirby came to us through a WhatsApp. One of the vets in series sent us a picture just of Kirby at the cage door, like, help. Apparently she turned up in a school in Tulbagh and went into the classroom, same classroom every single day, and just laid there all day.
Oh my gosh.
For about 3 months. So just laying in the classroom, and no one knew where she came from. They advertised, that's her at the vet. She's exceptionally loving, even to people who inject her. So the school went to the vet with the dog, said, you know, we don't know where she came from, and the vet contacted us, and then Bauhaus Doggy Daycare in Woodstock said that they'd take her on foster, because our fosters were full. And as you can see, she's just kind of glided through it all, like, okay.
Yeah, what an absolute diva dog. It's so like enjoying all the different lifestyles that she's managed to find.
It really is.
In terms of the homes that you're trying to pair up these animals with, I mean, animals definitely do have personalities. I mean, we've seen it with, we've got like the whole spectrum in the loft, and I'm really intrigued to know the kind of family that would need to adopt Kirby. What kind of family do you think she's looking for?
No cats. She is super interested in cats, like possibly to be their best friend, possibly not. We're not going to find out.
Yeah. We don't want to see.
We don't want to see that. She loves dogs. So she's been on, like I say, on foster at doggy daycare. She loves dogs, especially male dogs. She's like play. She obviously loves affection. So ideally someone that can spend some time with her. She's great on walks, but she's also happy to cuddle all day. So yeah, kind of somebody who wants a best friend for their dog, or just somebody who wants a best friend for themselves, really.
Stunning. Just somebody to love them in the long run.
Really, feeling lonely, menacing you down. Kirby is what you need in your life.
Sounds like a dog that I need right now in my life. It's really awesome to have you, Rachel. Thank you so much for coming to chat to us always. And with so much love pouring out from of Kirby, she would make the best companion for someone who loves getting affection, especially now that we're entering winter, you know, a little cuddle buddy. That's a perfect treat. I can imagine her cuddling in front of a huge fireplace. So if you think Kirby is the dog for you, make sure you get hold of the Sidewalk Specials. All the details are on Afternoon Express's Facebook page, as well as our website, afternoonexpress.co.za.
They're cute, they're cuddly, and they're TV stars. Baxter and Donut, the adorably fluffy four-legged members of the Afternoon Express family, are sharing their daily adventures on social media. To see what Baxter and Donut get up to behind the scenes, follow The Adventures of Baxter and The Adventures of Donut on Instagram.
Earlier on, we heard the inspiring story of Nolene Conrad, professional marathon runner, and also on social media, we're asking you, if you could add one sport to the Olympics that South Africans would be excellent at, what would it be? Tweet us at Afternoon Chat using the hashtag Afternoon Express or comment on our Facebook page. After the break, we look at the vibrant art of Siwa Mgoboza. Stay right there.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express, coming to you live on SABC3. Now, ishweshwe fabric is traditionally used in South Africa to make clothing. But after the past few years, these designs have found a new life thanks to both fashion designers and artists.
Siwa Mgoboza is one such artist with photo sculpture and textile work. He uses ishweshwe fabrics to create vibrant and colorful art pieces that embody the spirit of his vision for an Africa of the future.
Welcome to Afternoon Express.
Thank you for having me.
You are so exceptionally talented, so I've got to start this interview with congratulating you on passing cum laude at the Michaelis School of Art.
Thank you.
I mean, what does it take to get such good results?
Lots of hard work, and hard work isn't enough.
Sleepless nights.
You need to work smart as well.
Yeah.
Sleepless nights are part of it. They're actually part of the job to begin with. And just meeting the right people, being at the right places, and just working your way up slowly but surely.
I actually went to an office block. It's one of those shared office spaces, those fancy ones in like some building in a penthouse somewhere in town. And I saw one of your pieces and it was blown up huge. And I stared at it for so long when I was there. And I remember walking up to it at the bottom, trying to read who it was by. And when I found out you were coming to the show today, I was like, I couldn't wait to speak to you about your use of color, the vibrance in your artwork, and the shweshwe. What inspired that?
Well, I'm Hlubi, which is half Xhosa, half Sotho. Most people don't know about the Hlubis in South Africa, but we exist. How all of this work really began is from my upbringing. I was raised overseas, and we used to come back to South Africa every now and again. But being raised overseas, everything that is made in the West, produced in the West, we automatically assume to be the best. But when I came back to South Africa and I used to watch ordinary women wearing shweshwe of all kinds who would go to all lengths to make sure they had a beautiful dress to wear. I was just so inspired. It was the kind of elegance that I hadn't seen even on a Parisian catwalk. And these are the people that don't have access to fashion magazines and blogs like my generation does. So I was just so inspired by these women who had this eleganza, and I couldn't just walk past it. I had to look into it and try see what was my position in relation to the fabric.
Yeah. You said Afriganza, and I thought of Africadia. Please explain what that concept means.
Well, Africadia is this concept of an African Arcadia. An Arcadia is this idea of a pastoral land where animals, humans, and nature live as one. There is the ego that the human has is no longer there, and it's separated from everything else, and instead animals, humans, and nature cohabitate. And the work that I do, I try blur, collage, hybridize in a way to start to speak of, imagine what could be if all of these things were suddenly clashed and we're living in this very futuristic, bright world.
I mean, your artwork also gives a sense of gender fluidity. Like you can't really tell what your images are. Are they male? Are they female? They just kind of cross over.
And the colours, it's just, it shares such amazing energy.
Yeah, the gender thing comes from coming back to South Africa and actually realizing this unity and diversity it's a lie. We say we're about it, but I did not see it. No. I saw it in homophobia, I saw it xenophobia. Yeah. It went on and on. It was more than just black and white. So I started to think to myself, what is the kind of body that we see in the future? The kind of body which is all-inclusive. There is no race is constructed. That's why they're all multicolored. Gender is not there. It's fluid as we are moving today as a society. And I just thought to myself it was important that I start reflecting the things that are happening around me. And it comes back to this, there might be some small little kid sitting at home right now listening to this who might see themselves in this, and I think that's the power of art.
Exactly. It's incredible. Sorry, darling.
Oh no, I want to live in the world that you live in.
Please come join me.
It's just so beautiful.
You say you're an artist first before you're a human.
I'm an artist. I feel everything around me. I am sensitive. I see things, whether they're small, whether it's big, and they affect me. And I think it happens to every single person, but it's just, how do you deal with it? So I've found a way to healthily put those anxieties into my work. I bring that energy into the space. I bring it with me. And I just hope that one day we can start to live in this world as opposed to just imagining it.
You are so beautiful, and your energy is just incredible. I'm so attracted to your energy. It's so beautiful. So you deserve every little bit of success that's coming your way, and that's come your way because, can we discuss Vogue? I mean, Vogue. Wow, that is a dream.
No, it was a dream. I even got the opportunity to go visit the Vogue offices in Italy, in Milan. And you know, when just things start happening, the blocks, like a Tetris game, the blocks start falling in the right places. As my parents always say to me, the ancestors are working for you. Like, don't you ever, black child, do not despair.
Yeah.
Because the ancestors have laid down plans for you, the stars are aligned, you need to do what you're doing, focus on it, love it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, how do you begin?
Now, I want everybody to have access to your art. Where can people see it? And also, if people buy, like, so there's sculptures, but then do you also photograph them and sell the prints? Like, because I need a piece in my home.
Because I saw that huge photograph of your print. And will it take me, how long will I have to work to save to actually afford one of your pieces?
Art's an investment, Bonnie. It doesn't matter.
It is an investment. Actually, I make the sculptures, and then we shoot them, and then we addition those prints, and that's just a smart way of working whereby the concept, the idea, the image can be sold to multiple people. Yeah. And it's essentially a formula
I need that.
It's beautiful.
Those prints that sell in multiples fund the bigger works, which are the sculptures and the works which get to be shown on its own as a one-of-a-kind.
Okay. Well, we're investing, we're buying. Thank you so much for being here. You are so beautiful.
Thank
and you continue to shine.
Thank you very much.
And I particularly loved all his messages to other young people out there. So perhaps you've got something to share with us. Remember that we're taking your calls today live on the show with any of your questions or comments. You can call us 021 430 9881. 021 430 9881. We'll be right back.
Hello, South Africa. Are you ready for me? Present the search on SABC3. We're out here.
Would you want to see me on your TV?
Do you think that I have what it takes to become the next SABC3 presenter?
It's me you are looking for. When you present, you have to be passionate about it.
Just put me in front of a camera and I'll show you how it's done.
Tune in to Presenter Search on 3
on the 10th of May, 7:30 sharp
on SABC3.
The stage is yours.
Presenter Search on 3, proudly brought to you by Capitec and McCafe.
Thank you so much for joining us back on Afternoon Express live on SABC3. Today we've delved into the world of filmmaking, art, and what it takes to become a professional marathon runner. We're back on the couch with our three guests: Cait, Pansegrouw, producer of the award-winning film Caba, artist Siwa Mgoboza, and the inspiring long-distance athlete Nolene. Conrad, welcome to the couch.
So I thought, since we've got all of you guys on the couch with us today, I thought I'd go straight to you at home because you've been such a big part of the journey, and perhaps you've got questions for our guests or comments as well. Shirley, welcome to Afternoon Express. How are you today?
Hello, you can hear me?
Yes, Shirley, we can hear you loud and clear. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing very good, thank you. Do you have a comment or a question for our guests?
Yes, your conversation about the asthma actually got to me a bit. I was diagnosed with very severe asthma as a baby, and I spent my entire childhood in and out of hospital, to the point where my doctor put me on a trial run for a new drug, which is now the asthma pump, as a last-minute resort.
I couldn't live without my asthma pump.
I can't either. And I was also told I wouldn't live to be 18. I am now 48.
Yay! Did you have to also increase your lung capacity?
I was told in my teenage years I had to do that, and so I began to play competitive hockey.
And did you outgrow your asthma, or do you still have it?
I still have it. You know, it's a lifelong disease for me, and I live with it all the time. Yeah. And I know how to manage it. I know what triggers it. Stress is a big factor.
Yeah.
And I know what it's like to have an attack and the pump doesn't work.
Yeah. That must be the most scary experience in the world. Yeah, I can imagine. Shirley, thank you so much for the call. Much appreciated. Have a good rest of your afternoon.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right,
Has that happened to you, where your pump didn't work?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Me as well. Also had to have one of those pass-out experiences, waking up in an ambulance. Yeah, it's not a fun experience.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, from trial to absolute, amazing sort of achievements is what kind of we're celebrating here today. So no matter what you got in your obstacles and in your way, you guys have managed to do all these amazing things with your lives. I think that's a great story to be shared.
Absolutely. I'm a runner. I love running, and I particularly love long distance running. I find that the more I run, the more I discover so many things about how my body and my mind interact with the running, and you almost discover, every runner has little secrets that they've discovered about running that are special to them. Do you have any that you can share with us?
Yeah, it's like you just discover more about yourself, and they say you don't know yourself really unless you've run a marathon. So the marathon was like the challenging one for me. You know, I can deal with the 10K, it's fast, it's over quickly, but the marathon is where you really challenge yourself, and you actually realize how strong you really are.
Yeah. I just run late, but I'm looking forward to actually learning how to run and doing some kind of half marathon at some point. Now, I want to ask you, the lifeline, I suppose, of your film. What happens next? Because, I mean, it's off the box office now, so obviously, I mean, how can people access it and watch it? And what happens? Are there still more awards coming your way?
I hope so. We are going to be on box office, on Mnet, probably in the next 2-3 months, and then the film will release to DVD.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, full
You
purchase.
refer to yourself as a film doula.
Yes.
I love that.
And that's quite interesting for me. It's all three of you kind of share that narrative in terms of producing what you finally produce, whether it's a film, winning a marathon, or your art pieces. What keeps you going in those times when you feel like, am I ever actually going to achieve this goal?
I think, well, for me, I only work on films that I really believe in, because if you don't, you can't. You don't have the stamina to continue. It's really hard. And that was what was really specific and very intense with Mgoboza, that I believed in it absolutely. And I'm a feminist, so... Yeah.
You've heard about this, all entrepreneurs, all people that are involved in creative fields, is that one why, the reason why they do their work that they do.
Yeah.
What's your why?
Well, I feel like there's so much happening in the world that you need to find the positive, and you need to live for those. The positives need to outweigh the bads. Yeah. Otherwise, you get sucked up in the bads. That's how depression, people start drinking, etc., etc. So in my work, I just channel all those bad feelings. I list all the haters, put it into the work. When I'm walking to the bank later, they won't be with me.
But your work, I think your work must actually be really cathartic, because it's a lot of sewing as well.
It's very time consuming. I'm fortunate enough to work with a team of 2 women, so I'm able to support them and they're able to support their lives.
Amazing.
So in a way, I'm also starting, it's no longer just about me. Like, I have to perform, otherwise they can't feed their families, you know?
Yes.
So it's, I mean, you take on the responsibility, but such is life as adults.
Yeah, adulting. I never get it right.
Any young kids who want to run out there, what would you say to them?
I would say, like, you asked about the why. So the reason why I do mine is obviously passion. So you need to love what you're doing. So if I were to give any advice to the young ones, I would say, like, it must be their passion. It must be something that really drives them, or they'll stop, you know, 2 years in.
But let's be honest, nobody's passionate or excited about running when you first start out. It's just like, I must start.
Well, it depends what you're trying to achieve.
I'm passionate about having hot legs.
Exactly. So say clearly you learn to love it. It's something that you learn to love. It's not going to be fun in the beginning.
Yeah, like look at my story. I didn't love it when I started out. It was actually horrible, but then I learned to love it and it became my passion.
Stunning. You see, there you go. That's a story that to be shared.
Yeah, have passion and run fast.
Yeah, Bonnie and I are sitting here going like, oh gosh, it's like a 10K, it's quick and easy, get it done quickly. We're like, oh Lord. I need lots of energy drinks for that.
Thank you so much for being here, James. Absolutely amazing show. Now, tomorrow we have a really special guest joining us all the way from the USA. Grammy-nominated gospel singer Todd Delaney. He's here and he'll be performing live on the show.
So cool. He moved from like a baseball player to a gospel singer. It's an amazing story. So make sure you guys don't miss it. It's going to be awesome. Good night and happy eating.
God bless.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, guys, for being here.
Afternoon Express, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.